balling for Duke throughout this tournament. Zion Williamson is something special to behold. There is no debate. He is the #1 overall pick. Where would you prefer him to go? That's the question. Do you want him with the Knicks? Do you want him with LeBron and the Lakers? Where did you want him to go? That's the only thing to talk about. There is no debate. Zion Williamson is that special. He's that special. R.J. Barrett, he's a nice player. I just want to see him use his right hand more. But he's a nice player. He'll be a top 5 pick. He's a nice player. Cam Reddish, that boy better not come out the Duke. I mean, Cam Reddish was such a disappointment this year. You're strictly hiring him. If you draft him, you're grabbing him for potential. I'm talking about in terms of his level of productivity. It's such a disappointment. It really, really is. It's hard to put into words. 888 say ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. I'm gonna tell you something else too. Even though Duke's not, my pick was North Carolina. I mean, I walked into the weekend, I was in the top 1% of the brackets. And now I'm off the planet, my God. I thought Duke was going to the Final Four. I thought Gonzaga was going to the Final Four. I didn't want Virginia to go to the Final Four. And I damn sure didn't pick Auburn because they were in North Carolina's region, and I thought North Carolina was going. What a disappointment. North Carolina just got their butts waxed. They got beat up. Auburn just took it to them. Now, I would tell you this. Auburn's kind of nice. And I'm a fan of Bruce Pearl. But Auburn is kind of nice. I just got to tell y'all. It's kind of nice. It really, really is. This kid, Jared Harper, man, let me tell y'all. Jared Harper, cat quick. Not the greatest perimeter shooter in the world. Only shot one of 6 from three-point range. That's true. But I would tell you, when you look at Jared Harper, I got to admit to you, this kid is special. He showed up and balled out. I got a lot of respect for him. He balled out. But this kid, you know who I'm a fan of? I'm talking about for purposes of the NCAA tournament, when we're looking at them and we're saying, yo, what's going to happen here? I got to tell you. This kid, Bryce Brown, shot maker. He's one of those dudes where you could just give him the ball and say, here, take me there. He's one of those dudes that you can say, clear it out, I got this. He's one of those dudes. I like Bryce Brown. And the combination of Bryce Brown and Jared Harper makes these guys very, very, very dangerous. Auburn could win a national title. Auburn could win the national title. Now, I would say this, however. Don't get too caught up in that because, again, they went up against Kentucky. It's a rare moment. First of all, P.J. Williams is a man. Can I say that? P.J. Washington, I'm sorry. He's a man. He is a man. That brother came over the bench. He balled, played 37 minutes, had 28 points, 10 of 18 shots. I mean, 28 and 13. That's what he finished with. P.J. Washington is a man. That brother was special. I was disappointed in Reed Travis. I really was. He couldn't stop anybody when it really, really counted. You know, it was like they were attacking him at every turn. And I'll tell you what I'm also interested in. Listen, Keldon Johnson, decent game, 14 points. I expected more from him. I really did. But you know who I was really disappointed with? John Calipari. And I'm going to tell you why. Had nothing to do with the game itself. Because not like the man didn't know what he was doing as a coach. It's that the personnel you had couldn't get it done. They couldn't make shots. You didn't have pure, unadulterated shooters out there. I can't believe I saw a Kentucky squad with such a suspect backcourt. I really couldn't believe it. And then I got to thinking, back in the day. Like John Wall was an All-American out of the, Washington Wizards, played at Kentucky. John Wall was a stud at Kentucky, but didn't really have that jump shot. And it cost them in the NCAA tournament, Final Four, if I remember correctly. Derrick Rose was sensational at Memphis, and he was something special to behold. No question about that. But wasn't really a shooter. Plus, fatigue is why Kansas beat Memphis for that national championship, because they were spent come overtime after Mario Chalmers hit that three to send the game into overtime. That was spectacular. Here's the thing. When you look at John Calipari and you think about the sensational guards that he's been able to recruit, how many of them have been straight up bona fide shooters? They can play, they can handle, they can get to the rack, they got heart, they ain't scared of anything, they can defend. All of those things are true. But where's the straight up bona fide shooter from the guards? I mean, when you talked about Derrick Rose at Memphis, you had Chris Douglas Roberts there, okay? Because he could shoot. There's no question about that. I'm thinking back to the days of John Calipari at UMass when you had Michael Williams, who could shoot. And Lou Rowe was a man amongst boys in the post. Plus, they had Marcus Camby. It's back before some of you young whippersnappers' time. This is in the mid-'90s. That's how far back John Calipari goes. But when you look at some of the guards that he has recruited, evidently it's a struggle to find shooters. Higgins was no threat from the outside. They were damn near daring him to shoot. I mean, he only hit 1 of 4 from three-point range, but I'm just saying they were laying off him. And I'm surprised that Calipari couldn't get those guys. Couldn't find somebody that could really, really shoot the rock. But that's just me. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News. We'll get to your calls on the NCAA tournament. You got Auburn, Virginia, Michigan State, and Texas Tech in the Final Four. Who's your biggest surprise? What do you think is going to happen now? And what do you think about that Zion Williamson and Duke? My God, he is something special. All that and more coming up. We'll get into a little baseball and NFL talk and NBA talk as the show progresses today. So stick around. Don't touch that dial. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News. That was Straight Talk Wireless. Nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks. By the way, when you're hiring, you don't want to waste time sorting through dozens of irrelevant resumes, do you? You want an efficient way to get to a short list of qualified candidates.